Grandstand Bettors here with 32 NFL season previews in 32 days. We are on day 4 and we continue to finish off the AFC South today with the Houston Texans. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our team previews. And while you're at it, go ahead and smash that like button because the NFL season is just a little more than a month away. Before we get into the Texans preview, just a reminder, we're giving away $1,000 in our NFL betting contest this year at grandstandbettors.com. The link is below in the description. We also have a $100 referral bonus to the person who refers the most people to join the contest. While you're over there, become part of our family and start living that grandstand life. Without further ado, let's dive into the Texans season preview, and to do so, we need to look at their 2020 campaign. Last season, the Houston Texans finished 4-12, which was amazingly still good enough for third place, given how horrendous the Jaguars season was. The Texans' preseason over-under last year was at 8.5, given that they had won the division in 2019, made the playoffs, and they didn't lose any big-name players in the offseason. However, due to injuries, one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and one of the worst rushing attacks in the NFL, the Texans were far from hitting that over. You add the loss of J.J. Watt, the allegations against Deshaun Watson, and this awful offseason just continues. The Texans last year were 30th in yards given up per game, 24th in passing yards, and 27th in points per game. As hard as it is to lose a player like J.J. Watt, there are 11 players on the field, so a good offseason was absolutely necessary by the Texans if they wanted to get back on track. The whole situation with Deshaun Watson, that doesn't help anything. He's a dual-threat quarterback with great mobility and passing abilities. He has the skills to take a team to the postseason, as we've seen in previous years. However, if he does not play this season with the Texans, they'll be even in more trouble, because I can tell you right now, I don't know who the backup QB is. Do you? If this is the case, they might get lucky. They might win one game against Jacksonville or the Jets, because almost all their offense last season was produced by Watson. So if Watson's not playing, it's going to be a long year, Texan fans. Now, their run game ranked second to last in the NFL, averaging 91.6 yards per game, but they did make good offseason moves to work on this. As far as the offseason moves go for the Texans, it can be summed up in one word in general, and that's in defense. Their free agent signings were riddled with positional players on the defensive side of the ball, which makes sense given their performance on defense last season. The one that we want to highlight here is Christian Kirksey. This guy knows how to play linebacker and knows how to be a captain of the defense, and that's exactly what the Texans needed. Now, in the middle of their defense, it's a great addition that the Texan fans can be excited for, and it'll help them rebuild their team's defense overall. But on the other side of the ball, as we mentioned briefly, the Texans made some good acquisitions to help the running game this season. The Texans were able to sign David Johnson and acquired Mark Ingram from the Baltimore Ravens. But let's be completely honest, none of these backs are top 20 backs in the league anymore. Additionally, the Texans' offensive line was horrible last season. They did go out, pick up a few new guards, tackles, so we'll see if that translates into any improvement with the pass protection and the rushing attack. In the draft this year, the Texans did not make their first pick until the 3rd round, which was used on Stanford's QB, David Mills. Given the Watson situation, probably a good choice to grab a QB. They also only had 5 picks total in the draft, which were used on the QB, wide receiver, tight end, linebacker, and defensive tackle. Considering that none of their picks were in the first 2 rounds, it is expected that none of these guys are big-name players and most likely won't make an immediate impact on the team. But you never know. Hashtag Tom Brady. In any case, the Texans did not get the next Myles Garrett or Joe Burrow from the draft, so their win total will be affected a little by that. Now, if you look at their schedule this season, it's going to be rough for them. As always, there's going to be some fun games in the AFC South with the Jags, the Colts, and the Texans, but realistically, they might be able to only pull 1 or 2 wins out of their divisional games. Their AFC opponents consist of the AFC East, the Cleveland Browns, and the LA Chargers. All these teams, except for the Jets, had 7 wins or more last year, and they all have very bright futures. The Texans might win one of those games. In the NFC, they're taking on the West Division, which will most likely be the best division in the NFC this year. And if they win one of those games, it's considered a major upset in our opinion. Their 17th game of the season is at home against the Panthers, which is a winnable game, in all honesty. But on paper, especially with a healthy McCaffrey, who knows what happens. The Panthers really have a better team, and they should win that one. If they don't win Week 1 against Lawrence and the Jags, don't be surprised if the Texans start the season 0-10. The Texans, of course, have the lowest preseason over-under at 4.5 of any team on the board this year, but probably might go a little bit higher if Watson is going to play. But with the 4.5, and that's what we're going to stay with or without him, they have one of the toughest schedules, and it's definitely going to be hard to rebuild immediately with this team. We like the Texans to win less than 5 games here and hit the under. So that concludes the 4th day. Our AFC South is concluded. Hey, let us know in the comments below. What are the Texans going to do? Is Watson playing? Is he not going to play in the NFL ever again? Let us know what your over-under bets are. As always, sit back, relax, enjoy our NFL season previews, and we'll see you tomorrow.